Now let's turn off the actuator class. Let's understand that what this actuator class is. But before we actually go and drill deep down into the structure of this particular actuator class, I just wanted to just give you a brief idea again about that how this particular fog-based system works out. So when we are talking about this particular fog-based system, what exactly we have is we have a sensor that is on the end device, or maybe on the edge of the particular network, and there is a actuator that is there. So whatever the sensing is being done by the sensor, that has been actually sent to a particular intermediate fog device which is over there in the system, and this may actually get to another set of fog devices in the hierarchy, or at the end it will be connected to a cloud, right? So if I'm taking this particular typical example, there is a cloud and then there is a fog device and then it is connected with the sensor. So similarly, this sensor is also connected with an actuator. So let's say I'm considering the sensor as a camera, and I'm talking about a setup which is of a security related setup at a house, right? So what should be the actuator here? Whenever some thief is going to break into the house, or whenever some sort of such incidents are happening which are leading towards the theft of any material from the house, then the camera as a sensor should be detecting it, and then as per the actuator, this must be some sort of, let's say, alarm, or maybe some SMS, maybe some kind of call that has been sent to a particular law enforcement department. So any of such kind of actuator can be placed in this particular setup, right? So it could be any one, or it could be number of other actuators. So actuator is something which is actually going to do some kind of action corresponding to any of the input which is being provided by one single sensor or number of different sensors. So it depends what setup you are trying to build up, and this fog device or intermediate device is actually going to get the intermediate connection between these two set of devices, that is sensor and the actuator. So sensor we have already studied. Now let's talk about the actuator. So as I have already said, that actuator class model is basically meant for simulating the behavior of any end node, right? So here the example we took for the house security system. So it could be alarm, it could be SMS, it could be a call, anything. And actuator is basically responsible for taking the action on the basis of the information that has been provided by the sensor, right? So that's very, very important. When you talk about the actuator class, it actually exists inside org.fog.entities package, and if you look carefully, it has been extended from the sim entity class. So therefore it clearly states, or you can clearly deduce, that this particular class will be able to respond to the intended discrete events which are generated by another entities, which is generally in this case will be the fog device only. If you wanted to extend the behavior, that's up to you, you can extend it, but by default it is most probably the fog device. So therefore this class will definitely have the implementation of three different methods. One is the start entity method, shutdown entity, start entity, shutdown entity, and the process event method. Now this process event method is one of the most important method, because this is the one which is going to process the discrete events which are being generated by the other entities which are running in parallel during the simulation period, right? So that is what we have corresponding to this. So if we look at the class structure, what exactly it has, so let me show you that there are three different constructors for this particular actuator class, and every constructor has different set of parameters to it. So we have 4 parameters, we have 5 parameters, and we have 8 parameters, just like the sensor class. So if we look at the minimalistic parameters that we have, is the name of the actuator, the user ID, that means the fog broker ID which is going to be there, and the application ID which is supposed to be passed on to it, because the application is actually responsible for generating the tuples for this particular actuator. And then comes the actuator type, right? So these are the minimalistic parameters which are required. If we go further in the second constructor, we are also passing on the application instance directly to this particular constructor call as a parameter, and then for the maximum parameters, that is 8 parameter, we are adding in the default gateway device ID, the latency that it takes, the geolocation that it provides, and the specific source module from where the tuple for this particular actuator is going to get originated, right? So this is what is the basic setup for getting the instantiation of this particular actuator class. Now where this class is going to get instantiated, that I'll be talking about at the end of this particular video. But still, why we are using constructor? Because we wanted to have the attributes of this particular actuator class to be set with some kind of initial values. So what are those attributes? These are those 10 additional attributes which are going to be there over the above whatever is available in the SIM entity class. So these 10 parameters, just like in the sensor class, has the gateway device ID, has the latency associated with it. If there is any network node latency, then we have a geolocation. If we are talking about a very specific location on the earth, we can put the thing into that. Then application ID. This ID is going to be corresponding to the application that is running on that particular fog setup. Then user ID is basically a fog device ID. Then we have an actuator type, right? So what type of actuator it is? So we in the start of the video, we have actually mentioned 3 different types for a house security system. So there are any of that actuator type it can be. Then we have app, so that any application instance that is going to be put over here. Then characteristics, every app actuator has a set of characteristics. So I'll be showing you this particular class in a couple of minutes. Then there is another application instance that we are talking about. So there are 2 instances that we are talking about here. So it simply says to do remove. So even if you remove this, that will work for your application. And then finally we have a end device ID, right? So end device ID is to which this particular actuator device is getting connected to, right? So that means it will be the ultimate fog device to which it is connected, or the switch through which it is going to connect to that particular fog device. So it depends upon what setup you are talking about, right? So that is what we have the actuator's basic instance types and all. Now because all these parameters are supposed to be set with certain value, or they are supposed to be read with certain values, so we have 10 different set of get method and 10 different set of set methods. So that is basically used to get or set the values of this particular type of variables that are being used over here. So you can clearly see in those get and set methods that what exactly is been happening. So get methods are returning the values, whereas set methods are actually setting or putting a assignment of that parameter to the private variable. Now why this has been done? Because these are the private variables and we cannot access them directly by using the instance. So just to have an added layer of security, so that accidental access should not be done to this particular variable, then that is the reason why we are using set and get methods here. Now comes to the basic point, that why this actuator is used. What is the primary purpose of this particular actuator? So the primary purpose of this actuator is basically what is to process the tuples, right? So whatever the tuples which are going to be coming from the fog device to take action, that is being done over here. So you can see the tuple are being sent as a data to that particular SIM event, and then the log is being correspondingly published on the console, and this particular tuple is going to tell this particular actuator that okay, what source module, what destination module will be there, and which application does this particular tuple belongs to. Generally there is only one application which is there, right? There are different modules to that particular application, and then it actually looks at that okay, how many number of loops are there that is supposed to be followed, and then on the basis of that loop, the start time, the end time, the average time, the delay, everything is being calculated over here. And because we are just simulating the tuple processing, right? So that means whatever the time period which has been spent on processing that particular tuple is going to be added to the simulation by the use of the timekeeper class, right? So that timekeeper is actually going to maintain a lot of information corresponding to this corresponding to the time of the simulation, and the simulation time is always matched with the clock, CloudSIM's clock. That is the clock tick we are talking about. If you have gone through the prerequisite section of the CloudSIM basic simulation engine, you must be understanding this particular part. And then it finds out the new average, and then it keeps that particular new average with the timekeeper, so that the next time whenever a tuple is supposed to be calculated or processed, this can be taken care of. So this is the primary purpose of this particular class. Now how it has been actuated? It has been actuated by using the process event method. So I clearly mentioned the start entity method, The shutdown entity, let me show you the shutdown. The shutdown entity method is going to be there. Both of these methods doesn't have any special requirement for the actuator to be done, so that is why they are empty, whereas the process event is going to take care of the resource characteristics. So that means whenever a particular device is going to get executed, it can actually process the resource characteristics and the tuple arrival, both the events for this particular part. So this is the fog event and this is the basic cloud sim tag. So that means this is a basic simulation event with respect to the cloud sim based simulation engine, whereas this tuple event is very specific to the ifog based sim, and that is what it is doing. And this particular set of instructions are going to be called if cloud sim tag dot resource underscore characteristics is being called, and the fog event dot tuple arrival is going to get you the process tuple arrival event to be followed, right? So that is what is going to be there in the actuator class. Now if you are trying to work on certain actuator which is going to do a very custom based implementation, then you should be looking into this particular method for changing the process tuple arrival functionality, right? So that is where you should be concentrating your efforts to. And if you are trying to add the more attribution or more properties to the actuator, then you should be considering adding a particular variable to this particular list, and then correspondingly you should be adding a set and get method corresponding to that. And you should also be setting the value of that particular additional parameter in all the particular set of constructors, because the initialization of that particular value is very important. If you are not doing it, there is no use of adding that particular parameter. And one thing I forgot to mention, that this super method will always be called because the sim entity is being extended, and sim entities constructor is also supposed to be initialized whenever the actuator instance has been created. So this is what we have for the actuator class, and hope now you are able to completely understand that how sensors are going to acquire the information, and which is going to be further processed through the fog devices and will go to the actuators so that the actual action can be taken care of. So this is what is the overall simulation of the ifog sim which is going to happen corresponding to the particular simulation scenario that you are going to run.